So one of the major questions or major dilemmas that people run into when it comes to doing their business, moving forward in their business is, should I do something that I know I can make money at, or should I follow my passion or follow my dream, right? And I can't, on a large scale, I can't really answer that for you. You have to make that decision for yourself. But I can tell you that no matter how much money you make, if you're not doing the thing that you were put here to do, you're only going to be so happy. You're not going to have as much fulfillment. You're not going to have as much joy. You're not going to have as much, just excitement if you don't do the thing that you were put here to do. Okay. So I do believe that much, but you have to do what's right for you because of where you are in your life. You may be in a position where, you have to have income and you can't really wait for something to start making money. But I want to challenge you nonetheless to just consider working your passion, doing your passion. And I'm just going to use a personal story. So I was working for EA Sports, which is the video game manufacturer. Excuse me. That's the video game manufacturer, and I got a job working as a QC tester, right? So I was testing video games, which was pretty cool. I mean, you get paid to basically play games all day, right? But obviously, they don't just want you to play games, they want you to look for issues, look for problems. And I stayed there for, probably like 5, 6 months or whatever. And then I was let go because I thought I had found a major finding, but it turned out I didn't. And I did that 2 or 3 times, and I got to the point where, you know, they had to let me go. Right. So that didn't play well in my household. My then wife was not terribly thrilled about that, but, she was supportive to a point. But I had trouble finding work. I was trying to just find something, because she was the only one working at the time. And eventually, you know, things just kind of spiraled from that point. But what was interesting was that during the time that I was working for EA Sports, I mean, it was fun. Like, I really enjoyed it a lot. And I wasn't thinking so much about how much money I was making because honestly, I wasn't making a ton because they weren't paying a ton. Okay. But I enjoyed the time there because, it was something that I liked doing. It was a sports game, which meant I liked it even more. And it just seemed like the time wasn't a factor. Like I would work 8, 9 hour days easily. And, it just it didn't feel like work at all. And I learned a valuable lesson, even though I didn't apply the lesson. Lessons learned but not applied or is as good as a lesson that you didn't learn. Because only when you apply the lesson can you truly grow and improve. And the lesson was that you can do anything and make money doing it if you just open your heart up to it, right? And I think a lot of times what happens with people is that they don't open their heart up to doing things that they love to do and making money doing it. Because honestly, the job that I had prior to that job was making the same. The only difference was that that prior job had health insurance and this one didn't. Right. So, and at the time I was in my 20s, I didn't care about health insurance. I should have, but I didn't. I'm just being honest. Right. But my point is this: is that we're so afraid that we're not going to make money. We're so afraid that we're going to go broke. We're so afraid that we're not going to be able to meet our bills. And it's a valid concern. It's a valid concern. But fear comes from ignorance. Okay. And if you're ever fearful about anything, it's usually having to do with some sort of ignorance at some level of your thinking, right? Money is attracted to wisdom. Okay. There's a reason that people who are older tend to make more money than people who are younger. Are there exceptions? Of course there are. But people who are older usually have collected a, an amount of wisdom over their years. And that wisdom, people pay for wisdom because wisdom shortens the time period. Wisdom shortens the experimental period. You spent 20 years learning something, and you can save somebody those 20 years by teaching a 2-hour course. That's the power of wisdom, right? I would gladly pay $200 to save 20 years. I would gladly pay that, right? And most people would too. Think and Grow Rich is a great example of that because Napoleon Hill spent over 25 years interviewing the most successful people in the world at that time. Imagine someone interviewing Bill Gates and Elon Musk and um, Tim Cook, or any of the great Jeff Bezos, any of the great entrepreneurs of our time, and then distilling all that knowledge and putting it in the book. Maybe someone's already done it, but that's what Napoleon Hill did in his day, right? And he distilled all that knowledge in Think and Grow Rich. I mean, that's a book that's in the public domain. You can download it for free. But how many people don't read it? More people don't read it than actually read it. And then even less people actually apply what was written into their life, you know? But that's the power of wisdom. That wisdom, you can take that wisdom, apply it to your life, and shorten the time frame of success if you apply it. Okay? So that's why people pay for wisdom. And so your advantage is that if you go and do something that you love doing and it's something that you know how to do, something that you're very good at, people will pay for the wisdom. You don't have to worry about, can I make money doing it? As long as you think about all the ways that you could go broke, you'll never get started. Okay? You have to think about wisdom. Wisdom, the Bible calls wisdom the principal thing. Wisdom attracts money. It attracts opportunities. It attracts people who want to save time, because time is the one thing that we can't get back, right? So if money will save me time, then I'll do that. Okay. But for a lot of people, they never venture out because they're afraid. Understand that if the money concern is the main reason why you haven't started working in your passion, it's because you don't understand the power of wisdom. People will invest in wisdom. People will invest in that knowledge that you're giving to people. Okay, they'll invest in it. Don't worry about it. Just like it's a stock, people will invest in that knowledge, especially if it's specialized knowledge, especially if it's knowledge that's not readily available. If you know things that the average person doesn't know, you should absolutely be doing that as a business and serving people in that way. Okay, but you can't, as long as you think about, well, I can't afford it, can't, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay these bills. I'm not, again, valid concern, but you can't let it stop you. You gotta jump out there. You can't be afraid of failure. You just got to jump out there. You got to do it. Okay. Cause time's ticking, right? If you're sitting at a job right now and you're not fulfilled, you're not happy, right? That is a sign that you're not where you need to be. Okay. You got to start walking. Okay. And if you can't walk, then crawl, right? Crawl before you can walk before you can run before you can fly. Okay. But if you can't fly, can't run, can't walk, then start crawling, but start moving. Okay. Because the time is passing. Okay. Next year, you're going to be 1 year older, God willing, right? God willing and the creek don't rise, as the old folks used to say. You're going to be 1 year older. So are you going to be 1 year older working in your passion and your purpose? Or are you going to be 1 year older talking about next year? Okay. Because I hate to sound grim, we don't have an unlimited amount of next years. Okay. You've been saying next year, some of you, 5 years, 10 years. You've been saying next year for a long time. Long time. Okay. It's time to make next year this year. And it's time for you to start moving in your passion so you can bless people. So you can bless people and be a blessing. And in doing so, God will make sure that you and your family are taken care of. Okay. So I just wanted to encourage you today, start moving towards your passion, start moving towards your purpose.